we're live. We are 11 days away from the NFL season kicking off. A lot of you may have done your fantasy drafts this weekend. This weekend and next weekend are the biggest fantasy draft weekends of the year, as they should be. Preseason's coming to an end or has come to an end. There's still some things that we're kind of waiting on. So hopefully you draft next weekend because there's a lot of potentially injured people. There's guys like Terry McLaurin, Quinshon Judkins, where it's just like, what are we doing here with these guys and all of that. So, but we are here, and we'll be live for the next hour or so, potentially doing a mock draft if we have enough people that are interested in doing that, or we'll just kind of answer some questions. Like I see with Marlon. Welcome back, Marlon. Good to see you again. It's good to see some of the the people that we do a lot of dynasty content, but so it's good to see some of our redraft people and our dynasty people who also play redraft. It's just good to see everyone, like Marlon, Mr. Magic. How's it going, Marlon? He said, who to keep, Neighbors at the 5th round or Bowers at the 11th round? Ooh. I'm the 7th pick in a 10-man PPR league. Since our keepers all first round, goes down one spot. My league mate took Saquon as the keeper. I'm finding that my league mates are choosing more wide receivers than running back. So at the 2-4, I'm getting AJ Brown. That's a tough one. I would say the better value is Bowers in round 11. But man, Neighbors in round 5 is great too. But I mean, Neighbors is a round 1 pick. Bowers is a round 2 pick. So you're getting a lot more of a value there with Bowers. So there's no chance you could get Neighbors. Like if you kept Bowers, Marlon, there's no chance you can get Neighbors, or vice versa. If you keep Bowers, if you keep Neighbors, can you get Bowers? Is that just not going to be possible? What's up, Bo Soxer? I just got done watching my Padres lose to the Dodgers. So your name always reminds me of baseball. So that's okay, though. They won the series. So that's all that matters. 31 years with the group of fellas for 31 years. So, wow. So you started in the 90s with this group then. What were some of the first drafts like? Were you doing them offline, and like how were you keeping score and stuff like that before? I know in the 90s there probably wasn't that much websites or something maybe that you could upload things into and stuff like that. The internet was just kind of becoming a little bit popular there, so a whole newspaper pretty much. That's awesome. I would love to do like an old school league like that. Maybe not the newspaper stuff, but drafting offline. I've never had an offline draft like with the draft board and stuff like that. So I think it'd be pretty cool one day to do that. Maybe we can do something, if we get enough, a little bit bigger on this channel, we could do something where we can host like a meet and greet and have like a offline draft. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So, with the big old board and everything. So maybe we'll see how this year goes, and maybe next year. So, Christian, in a 10-man PPR league, should I trade for DK? I would have to trade either Pickens or Ridley if I do. If you're asking, if you are asking if you should just do straight up one of those players for DK Metcalf, then I would. I have DK Metcalf ranked higher than both those guys there. I would happily do that. I would probably rank those. Let me actually pull up my rankings here. Let's see here. I got DK Metcalf in my tier 6. I have Pickens and Ridley in my tier 9. So there's pretty big difference for me between Metcalf and then Ridley and Pickens. So I would order it Metcalf, Ridley, Pickens, but I have Ridley and Pickens in the same tier, but I have DK Metcalf several tiers higher. I just think he has a good chance to be kind of hyper targeted, Aaron Rodgers to hyper target him. Um, yeah, I'm gonna. We'll see if we get a few more people in here. If anyone's, you can put in the chat, guys. If we get enough people, I'd like at least half the draft full. We haven't been able to fill up a full draft yet, but if anyone's interested in doing a mock draft, you can just drop a comment saying you are. And if we get 5-6 people that are interested, I will start one up for sure. So yeah, Christian, if you're asking just straight up, if you can trade Pickens for Metcalf or Ridley for Metcalf, I would do it in a heartbeat. Now, maybe you could do that. Maybe you don't or can't do that. If you want to add something, you can tell me, some other guys that maybe you're potentially thinking of adding. So the keepers in my league are Bowers, Jaden Daniels, JSN. Bowers, Jaden Daniels, JSN, Ladd McConkey, Chuba Hubbard, Kittle, McBride, Saquon. Bowers, Jaden Daniels, JSN, Ladd McConkey, Chuba Hubbard. And so let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So are there 2 teams not keeping anyone, Marlon? Is that right? Is there just 2 teams that are not keeping anybody? It's a 10-teamer, right? Yeah, a 10-teamer. So I assume that means there's 2 people that aren't keeping anybody in there, right? So there's a good chance like they take. I mean, so like where's like Jamar Chase gonna go? And I guess those guys can't be kept. Is that what I'm understanding here? Like those guys can't be kept because I would assume Jamar Chase and yeah, it looks like all non-first round picks from last year. Maybe Saquon was a first round pick, but maybe not in your league, in a 10-team league. Hopefully I'm understanding that right. Yeah, I would love to do that. We do have one person up, Bo Soxer's here. Yeah, we just want to get a few more people in there, hopefully. So if anyone else wants the mock draft, let us know and we'll start it up. But if not, we'll just kind of answer some questions, hang out, talk about some of the preseason news and stuff like that. That's awesome. You had a big draft last weekend. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah, it's with with so much. It's just nice. Like you start to appreciate things more these days, where you don't have to look at a screen, right? Because especially for me, like I'm literally working from home on a computer, multiple jobs, like teaching. I'm doing work for PFF. I make videos on YouTube, so like I'm literally everything is like centered around my computer, and so it's nice you start appreciating those things where it's like, oh, I don't have to stare at a screen. So Marlon Genty in the second, yeah. I mean, right now Genty is probably closer to a first round pick than a second round pick. He's right there in that. I'd say I personally have him in tier 3, and I have him as the 12th. Right, that starts my tier 3. My tier 1 and tier 2 are picks 1 through 11, and then Genty, is in tier 3, so picks 12 through 13, 14, 15, 16. So picks, the 112 to the 204 is there. So that's where I think Genty should be going. So yeah, if you can get him in the second round, I think that's fair. Depends on who else is there, but yeah, I mean, I'm totally happy with that. So, but yeah, Marlon, let me know if I got that right about the keeper stuff. It sounds like since our keepers all first round goes down one spot, yeah. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious why there's not Jefferson and Bijan and guys like that not being kept there. So, by the way, guys, just a little update. We are going to we'll be live again Thursday. We'll be live again Sunday. I'm going to live stream our home league that we run, with our friends and family. We draft on Sunday afternoon, if I remember correctly. It's at like 12 or 1 o'clock or something. So we're probably going to be live streaming that. And that league's been going on, I think, for about 10 years now. So live streaming that. And then we have another listener league on Wednesday, September 3rd. So we're probably going to be live again Thursday, Sunday, and then Wednesday, the Wednesday before the season starts. Those are our next 3 ones. After that, I'm going to be live every single day of the NFL season from weeks 1 through 17. Every single day. It could be for 30 minutes, could be for 15, 20 minutes, whatever, but I'm going to try and go live every single day, get a little streak going, answer your questions, start, sit, all that fun stuff. If you want to know when we will be going live, best place to join is in our Discord, which I know several of you in here are already in, but is to join our Discord there, and you can hop in there, and you'll know when we go live. So, but yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it's going to be a good season. I think. Let me grab water. Going to be a good season, and I'm excited about it. So, but yeah, so the preseason's down, and again, if anyone's interested in joining a mock draft, we got one person already. If we can get 3 or 4 more people, I'd be happy to start one up. But I don't want to start one up with just a couple of us, just because it's hard to kind of pick for the computers, and it doesn't give you as good of a insight. We need more humans picking. Christian says, I also have Gibbs, but don't have David Montgomery. Should I try and package Gibbs and Pickens for Barkley and DK? Yeah, I mean, I would prefer the Barkley DK side. Barkley is a tier above Gibbs for me. Barkley's in my top 6 in tier 1. Gibbs is right there at number 7 in my tier 2, and then you're getting a huge upgrade. So yeah, sure. I don't mind doing that at all. I think that's a pretty good one there, if you can do that. So have you already drafted, Christian? Is that what's going on? You guys have already drafted, I assume, or what? Are you in like a keeper league or something? Because I'm just the reason I ask is just because like yeah, so you already drafted. So the reason I ask is just because what if, so the person that you're trading, trying to get DK from, like why, and you're trying to give them Ridley or something like that. In their mind, they're going to be like, well, I took DK. I assume they did. They took DK over Ridley. And so why would they trade Ridley for DK, if that makes sense? So it'd have to be, giving them a player that maybe they really wanted. So just let me know what's going on with that dynamic there. We did have preseason kind of wrap up. A few things to kind of look for it. And now people always talk about preseason and it's not important and stuff. And I half agree with them. I think usage is very, very important in how teams are using their players and who's in there with the first team and stuff. To me, that's the most important thing. It gives you a little bit of an insight and stuff like that. So just kind of going through the games really quickly. The first one, the Steelers and Panthers, and keep the questions coming, by the way, guys. We'll I'll keep answering your questions. If you have start sit for week 1, if you have any type of trade questions like we have going on, keeper stuff. So I'll be happy to do that. I took Jamar Chase in the first round and took Saquon in the second round last year. You traded Saquon. Okay. And so 2 of them have not chosen, but are they going to choose? Do you have to choose a keeper, or could it be you can choose, you can choose not to take, a keeper and have the number one pick or something and take the best player that's not being kept or something like that. The person who has decaf hates him, DK Metcalf. So I said decaf. Hates him. So I'm trying to take advantage. Okay, sure. I like it. But yeah, the Steelers Panthers preseason game, it was really interesting with the running back rotation. It was Jaylen Warren starting the game, Kenneth Gainwell playing on third downs, right? I've been talking about this a little bit with Caleb Johnson for the last couple of weeks now, and Caleb Johnson it's getting a little scary on what, or at least early on expectations are for Caleb Johnson are going to be. Right now, if we're looking at half PPR consensus ranking, Caleb Johnson is currently being drafted at the 6-7 turn. So this you're drafting him as a starter on your team. But he's kind of playing behind. He's kind of the RB3 on this team. So could he take over in October and become like the main guy? Sure. I do think they worry about his pass blocking, which is pretty important playing. If you're running back, if you're blocking for Aaron Rodgers, a 41, 42-year-old quarterback who can't move very well, he needs his running backs to block. Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren are very good at that, and Caleb Johnson is not as of right now. And so I don't know. I think I'm kind of out on Caleb Johnson at that 6-7 turn type of play. I'm also a little bit worried about Jaylen Warren because if he's not going to play third downs and Caleb Johnson does start to take over some work on the early downs, like we could be seeing just like Jaylen Warren and like we could see 3 running backs there that none of them are really fantasy relevant or start worthy in fantasy because they kind of just, feed off each other. And there's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of it. But they all kind of, Kenneth Gainwell's getting the catches, which is obviously pretty high value. Caleb and Jaylen Warren are sharing, the early down stuff. So keep an eye on that. I'm a little bit worried about Caleb year one. Other than that, there wasn't too much to talk about with that game. So the Giants and Patriots game, there were 8 wide receivers that didn't participate in this game for New England. So we have Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, and Mac Hollins. I think all those guys have locked up a roster spot. I think Kyle Williams has locked up a roster spot. So it's going to be interesting, like who's you got guys like Kendrick Bourne, Efton Chisholm, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk. Like, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. Let's see what we got here. I don't really know, but people aren't choosing round 1 because they have better value and other. Got it. That makes sense. So it's like, yeah, do you want Bowers for round 11 value or Jamar Chase for round 1 value, right? That makes perfect sense. If you were in my position, I know Bowers is a very good pick, but Neighbors is in a key position. He is elite, and I think I want to grab CMC at the 107 and possibly go Achane, Henry, Genty. Yes, so here's my opinion about those two. I have Malik Neighbors. I'm always a little bit lower on tight ends. I'm always going to be a little bit lower on tight ends. That's just how I play. I'm not going to be rostering Bowers on any teams this year because people are taking him early second round, mid second round. I have him closer to my tier 5. Yeah. And that's more end of second, beginning of third round. Whereas I have Malik Neighbors in my tier 2. I think he should be a top 10 pick in fantasy, top 10, top 12 pick in fantasy. Now, a couple concerns here. One, Neighbors has a lot of injuries, right? He has like 3 injuries going on. So that's always going to be a concern. Like Neighbors' injuries, like foot stuff, and I forget what else he has. But there are injuries there to kind of keep an eye on there. I'm trying to look up exactly what he has. He has minor back injury, ongoing toe issues, and stuff like that. Now, it could be nothing, and he's fine, right? So that's something for Neighbors. The thing going against Bowers, and I talked about this in a video last week, that the Raiders are using their tight ends in a very weird rotation. They're using Michael Mayer a lot more. He actually, once again, that's 2 weeks in a row now, Michael Mayer has led the tight end group in offensive snaps. He has more snaps than Brock Bowers, which seems kind of crazy, right? But there's a decent chance that that Bowers actually plays a little bit less this year. It doesn't mean he can't be tight end 1. I think he can still be tight end 1 very, very easily, right? But could his ceiling be affected a little bit? Like, we're drafting him kind of in the range of where we're, not all tight end 1s are equal, right? Tight end 1 last year is not the same value as what Travis Kelce was for all those years. Travis Kelce was dominant, elite tight end 1, right? Like, he was, no joke, a difference maker. He was like a top 10 wide receiver points. Last year, George Kittle in points per game was the tight end 1 with 15.8 points in PPR. We go look at Kelce in his prime years, 18.6, 17.7 for Andrews back in 2021. Travis Kelce in 2020, 20.9. So, like, sure, you're getting the tight end 1 in Bowers, but if he averages 3 to 5 less points than what Kelce was doing, and we're kind of taking him roughly in Kelce range, you're going to be losing a lot of matchups, in my opinion. You're not picking the best player. Bowers is awesome. So there's a concern with that. There's a concern with how the Raiders are using their tight ends. That they have Michael Mayer out there a lot more, and it kind of makes sense because Bowers is not a run blocker. This team was going to want to run the ball. They want Genty to be the face of this team. They want him to be the center point of the offense. And Michael Mayer is just going to be better for that. So I'm not saying Bowers can't be tight end 1. I'm just saying I think his ceiling is capped. I don't think he can be 17, 18, 20 points per game in PPR Kelce, which is, I feel like if we're drafting him there, that's where that's kind of what we're expecting. We're expecting 17, 18 PPR points per game. I think we're going to be probably closer to like 15. So just keep that in mind there. I think I would lean Neighbors personally. I think I would lean Neighbors in your opinion and in your spot there. Grab CMC at the 107 is great, and then go Achane, Henry, or Genty. Yeah, I like that. Should I panic at all that Demo could possibly take touches from Gibbs, especially at the goal line? No. Yes, no, maybe. So it's going to happen most likely. So if we actually look at, this has always been the issue with Gibbs. This is 3 years in a row now where Gibbs has basically been almost a first-round pick. His rookie year, Jahmyr Gibbs was a second-round pick. Last year, he was like a 1-2 turn pick. Now he's in the top 6 or 7. Like, he's for sure going in the first round, mostly because what we saw last year, right? And how he ended when Montgomery got hurt. But if we look at the first 14 weeks of the season, which is, Montgomery got hurt in week 15, I believe, in that game. So if we look at the first 14 weeks of the season here, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're both still very good. So first 14 weeks of the season, Jahmyr Gibbs was RB5. David Montgomery is RB9. Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 18.2 points per game. David Montgomery, 16.5 points per game in PPR, right? So, yes, I think Montgomery's going to take touches, but we've seen a situation last year where Gibbs was awesome. Like, Gibbs was amazing those first 14 weeks. Like, his worst game, I'm looking at it right now, was 10.4 points per game. 10.4 points. Like, he had one game under 12 points last year in PPR, which is great. But then again, we know what he did weeks 15 to 18, which is why everyone was so excited. He went off. He put up 28.5, 25.5, 26.5, 46, right? And so I think are you getting 20 points per game, Gibbs? No, you're probably getting 18 points per game, Gibbs, which is why for me, he's a tier down. That being said, The Lions offense is 100% better with Jahmyr Gibbs on the field. If Jahmyr Gibbs is on the field, every single snap and touches the ball, every running back touch goes to Jahmyr Gibbs, their offense would be better. And if this was Madden, where you could turn off the injuries, I had no doubt in my mind that the Lions would do that they would give Jahmyr Gibbs all the touches because he's just better. He's just a better running back than Montgomery. But injuries are a real thing. Jahmyr Gibbs is way too valuable for this team to lose. And so that's why Montgomery is still going to get a lot of touches. Although I do think, is there a chance that we see a little bit more going to Gibbs, especially with the new offensive coordinator coming in, especially if the offense struggles in the beginning? There might be some pressure on the offensive coordinator, and he might have to play Gibbs a little bit more. Instead of seeing kind of like a 55-45, 50-50 split, do we see a 65-35 in Gibbs' favor? And then, that's good, obviously, for Jahmyr Gibbs. So, yes, I think, you should be worried because I think it does cap Gibbs' ceiling. We saw his ceiling at the end of last year, but he's still going to be really, really good. So, and then in the third, I want an elite quarterback, Lamar or Josh Allen. If you plan on taking a quarterback, Marlon, in the third round, then I would for sure go Bowers. I generally don't want to take a quarterback and a tight end with my first few picks. Right? I know you're in a 10-team league, so it makes it a little bit easier to do that. But yeah. So fourth, I want to grab a wide receiver, pair of Neighbors. 6, I would try to get Sutton or Devontae Adams. Later rounds, I want Matthew Golden and Emeka Egbuka. Grab Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. Maybe even Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, I'm definitely out on this year, just because I think he's going way too high. That middle tier of tight ends, I think I'm kind of out on those guys. Yeah, Evan Ingram is a 7-8 turn, so it's not terrible. But I'd rather Njoku, who's more going in the middle of the 8th round. Honestly, I think all my teams, I'm going to have one of these 4 tight ends. I'm going to have Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Dalton Kincaid, or Kyle Pitts on my teams because I think those guys have a lot of upside. They're still very cheap. And yeah, I think they have a lot of upside. And then I'll pair them with, someone a little bit safer, like a Jake Ferguson, Hunter Henry, someone like that. So that's kind of my plan for tight end this year. Going back and keep the questions coming if you guys have them. Going back into the preseason stuff. Next game to look at here, and I took some notes on them. Where are we at? We're on the third game, which was... We did Pittsburgh. We did the Giants, Patriots. Okay, Jets and Eagles. Not a whole lot here to talk about fantasy relevancy-wise. Falcons, Cowboys. Jaden Blue does play, but he doesn't start, so he's the rookie running back for the Cowboys. I don't know what's going to really go on with the Cowboys running backs. I definitely want to take a shot on one of those guys, Javonte, Jaden Blue, or even Miles Sanders in a weird way. So, yeah, I don't know what that running back room is going to look like at all. Vikings, Titans. Alec Eilmanner, the rookie out of Stanford, he might be a player year one for the Titans. Their depth chart is horrendous. It's Ridley, Lockett, and then Treylon Burks. So Alec Eilmanner really may be a player here for them. So I don't know for redraft if he's going to be much. He's definitely a waiver wire guy, but for Dynasty, man, you have to be excited that you're gonna get to see something year one from Alec Eilmanner, which is great to see. That's kind of what we want to see there. Bears, Chiefs, Rashard Smith. He's the rookie running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys remember him, he was drafted in the 7th round out of SMU, converted wide receiver to running back. He's like a Antonio Gibson, Tyrone Tracy type of player, right? Where he played his first 3 seasons in college as a wide receiver, and then he played last year 1 year at the running back position. He was getting snaps with the starters. They were kind of using Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, like at the early downs, and then Brashard Smith was coming in and playing on third down with Mahomes and Kelsey and all them. And I find that pretty intriguing because this is kind of what I predicted with Brashard Smith was him being this kind of Jerick McKinnon like player for the Chiefs offense. I think the Chiefs have really, last time the Chiefs offense was elite was, I'm not saying it's all because of Jerick McKinnon, but last time they were elite was back in 2022 when Jerick McKinnon had a great year for the Chiefs. 840 yards, 10 touchdowns, 56 catches. He gave them that weapon, that short area weapon there that you could dump off to, and he could be an absolute weapon for them. So I thought it was interesting that Brashard Smith was used that way. Keep an eye on Brashard Smith, man. Like if he has that role, that third down role, we could see like another repeat. I don't think we're going to get 10 touchdowns out of him. I think that was kind of a fluke, but we could see a 800 total yard, 50 catch season, which in PPR is going to be flex worthy. So Brashard Smith, rookie running back. I'm not saying draft him necessarily, but unless you play in deeper leagues, but just keep an eye on him for the waiver wires because he was getting snaps with the starters. Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet in this same game, they kind of rotated a lot. So, they kind of rotated a lot there. So that's another situation where it's like Cole Kmet is a professional tight end who can do all the things that they need him to do. That could really affect, just like Dawson Knox affects Dalton Kincaid, Cole Kmet could really affect Colston Loveland potentially. So just keep that in mind with you drafting London. Luther Burden seems to be the clear fourth player on the depth chart for the Bears. It's Odunze, DJ Moore, and then Olamide Zaccheaus. Zaccheaus is going to be playing in the slot, starting in the slot with in 11 personnel with the Bears. So if you're expecting anything from Luther Burden early on, I don't think it's going to happen. Let's get to some more of these here. Mark, how's it going, Mark? Excited for our draft. Dynasty PPR Superflex with the half-point tight end premium. Just made this trade and want to get some thoughts. And how do you think I did? I got the Genty side. So Goff, JT, Nico Collins, Trey McBride, and Giddens. For Kelsey, Waddle, Mims, Nix, Genty, and a 26 first. It is Superflex. This is going to be one to break down here. I mean, wow, this is kind of a blockbuster. This is kind of a blockbuster. I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what can I like cancel out from each other? I can't really cancel anything out here. Man, I think I kind of like the Goff side a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'll say this. You probably got the best player in the entire trade, right? Which is always a feather in your cap. Genty is the best player. Ooh, I kind of missed the Bo Nix part. Ooh. Man, you're making me think with this one. So, I mean, easy Nix over Goff, Genty over JT, right? That's pretty easy. Nico Collins easily over Waddle, McBride easily over Kelsey. I would take Mims over Giddens. I'm really excited about Mims, and you got a first there. Let's just say the first and Waddle for Nico is rough. Let's just say the first and Waddle for Nico is like roughly cancels out. Probably not. It's probably a little bit in favor of the Waddle side. This is actually really, really close. I don't mind either side. You got the best player in Genty. If I'm just thinking about who's going first in startup drafts, right? Like if we look at Dynasty, PPR, Superflex, right? Genty is the first player going out of this group of players. Genty's the first player going here. And then it is potentially it's Nico Collins and then Bo Nix are really close to each other there. McBride actually probably goes a little bit higher. It's probably like McBride, Nico, Nix. Yeah, man, that's really tough. I don't mind either side. I think my gut instinct was I think the 26 first makes me actually lean the Knicks Genty side, right? I think it does, but it's very close. I mean, you're getting like 4 starters for 5 starters potentially. Mims, we'll see. Yeah, man, that's really tough. I don't mind the Genty side. I actually still think I slightly lean the Jonathan Taylor Collins side, but I think if my team, it also depends on. No, I guess it doesn't matter because you got Bo Nix. Yeah, no, I'm going to lean the Genty side here, Mark. You can see this is a pretty even trade, so I think you did pretty well on kind of making an even trade, and you probably got guys that you believe in a little bit more. So there's a lot of big name players there that are going for sure. So Marlon says, if you grab a quarterback at the 3rd, I should get Bowers. I would say if you're planning on grabbing a quarterback in the 3rd, I wouldn't take Bowers. So that's what I'm saying there is like, I wouldn't, well, I guess Bowers would be your 11th round pick, right? So then never mind about that. Never mind about that. Yeah. I mean, you're saying you want to grab an elite quarterback in the 3rd round. If you're going to grab an elite quarterback in the 3rd round, just please make sure it's a rushing quarterback. I know Joe Burrow is awesome, and I know he's kind of the QB5 there. It's Lamar, Allen, Jaden, and Jalen Hurts, right? And then Burrow. I'm avoiding Burrow. I'm avoiding Mahomes. I'm avoiding Bo Nix. I'm avoiding Baker Mayfield. Probably Bo Nix as well. That middle tier of quarterbacks here. That middle tier of quarterbacks, I'm in a 1 QB league. I'm fine with Allen, Lamar. I generally don't take quarterbacks that high, but I'm fine with Allen, Lamar, Jaden, Jalen Hurts. I'm avoiding Burrow at cost. At Burrow at cost, which is the 3-4 turn, I'm going to pass. Not saying Burrows can't be QB5 or whatever. Just saying I'm going to pass just because non-rushing quarterbacks, there's too much. There could be just what if Burrow just throws for 30 touchdowns instead of 40, right? 4,500 yards instead of 5,000. Like what if, for whatever reason, his wide receiver, Jamar Chase gets hurt. Lamar, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, these guys are going to put up points with or without their number 1 wide receiver there. Obviously, it's better if A.J. Brown and Zay Flowers and Shakir are there, but they can still put up points with their legs, right? Just too much. There's too much variance when it comes to these non-rushing quarterbacks. So Burrow, I'm out at cost. Patrick Mahomes, I'm out at cost. Baker Mayfield, I'm out at cost. Bo Nix, I'm out at cost. Jared Goff, I'm out at cost. And there I start looking for my quarterback. Kyler Murray, I'm happy with. Justin Herbert in the 10th round, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott. That's the range of quarterbacks. Like these guys going in the 10th round. Because, sure, I think Burrow's going to be better than those guys, but it wouldn't shock me if, they're not that far off from each other. Burrow and Brock Purdy are only a couple points per game difference, and I'll take that difference in 6 rounds. So, but yeah, ignore what I said about because you would be spending an 11th round pick on Bowers. So, I'm fine with Neighbors, Marlon. I'm fine with Neighbors. Adams here, 10-man full PPR. Burrow, Chase Brown, Bucky, Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Tyler Warren, Emeka Ibuka, Waddle. Is that DJ Moore, I assume? Any tips, suggestions? I also have Sharp and Tracy on the bench. Too much Bengals. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, potentially the best offense in the league there, right? I'm a little bit, so I assume you picked at the 101, 102, and that's how you got Bucky and Chase Brown. Okay, it's a 10-man, so that makes sense. Yeah. The biggest thing I would say for you is, I mean, your wide receiver two's covered. And, if something happens with Rushy Rice, like a suspension or something, I think Abuka, Waddle, or Moore should be able to step up there. So just have a backup plan for Tyler Warren, just in case, he's a rookie tight end and he doesn't pan out. You'll find tight ends on the waiver wire. I think this is a really good team. 10 team leagues are generally almost always going to be really good in terms of their teams, right? So, only reason I'm considering Neighbors because I don't like my options in the second and third round. So I want to get strong at the important positions, tight end position. Yeah, I agree. Take Neighbors. I think Neighbors is the easy answer. I like Loveland with Colston, with Ben Johnson as well. I'm just saying, from what their preseason usage is, it feels like Colston, Loveland, and Cole Kmet are going to be like in a 50-50 split here. And because of that, this team's not going to run a whole lot of 2 tight end sets. They're not. They're not going to run a lot of 12 personnel. So they're going to be in 3 wide receivers. There's going to be 1 tight end on the field most of the time. And so that's why Dalton Kincaid, guys, that's why Dalton Kincaid hasn't been what we expected him to be. It's the same reason. It's because he just doesn't play enough. Tight ends, you generally need to play 80% of the snaps or more. Dalton Kincaid played under 60% last year, 63% his rookie year. So that's why he hasn't been the fantasy relevant guy. I'm a little bit worried that might be the reason for Loveland. That being said, you'll find someone. Take a shot on Loveland. If he's not there the first couple of weeks, you find someone else on the waiver wire. There will be people. There's some tight ends that I like. There's a lot of late tight ends that I like this year. And I think a lot of them are going to be on the waiver wire. I'm fine with guys like I told you already, Kyle Pitts, Kincaid, Loveland, Warren. Those are the upside guys I'm taking a shot on, right? But if they don't work out, Tucker Kraft is there late. He'll get drafted. Jake Ferguson, Zach Ertz, guys, was tight end 7 last year. I know he's old and stuff, but he was old last year too. Hunter Henry, I know it sounds funny. Hunter Henry was the tight end 12 last year. His 17-game pace when he played with Drake May was 85 catches and over 800 yards. That's going to be good for PPR. Brenton Strange, Mike Gesicki, Mason Taylor, another rookie. So there's a lot of guys there to be excited about, in my opinion. So Tyler Warren is insane. He's a lot of fun, man. Dude, I think he scored a touchdown where he lined up at center in college one time. Something crazy like that. Or he snapped the ball or something. It's something insane. Let's see here. I actually don't know if Warren has been playing a majority of the snaps preseason. So let's see here. So it looks like Warren didn't play this last yesterday. I think it was yesterday, their last preseason game, which is actually a good sign because that means, he's part of that starters. He started in preseason week 2. He played in 14 snaps, which was basically with all the starters. Looks like all the starters played 15 snaps. Michael Pittman and Daniel Jones had 15 snaps. Warren played in 14 of them. Preseason week 1, Warren also started, and he played in 20 snaps. Anthony Richardson played in where's Daniel Jones here? Anthony Richardson got hurt in that game. Yeah, it looks like Warren played. He's been playing the majority with the starters. The problem with Warren is the offense. I'm very out on the Colts. There is no bright side in that offense. Only savable player there is JT, if any. Yeah, I mean, it's better with Daniel Jones, which sounds kind of funny to say, but it is better with Daniel Jones, in my opinion. And he could be getting a lot of dump off targets. So, some other preseason notes. We talked about the Titans game. We talked about the Chiefs and Brashard Smith. Keep an eye on him. Loveland and Cole Kmet kind of in that 50-50 split. Luther Burden is the wide receiver 4. Not sure if I'm going to be drafting Luther Burden just because he might be a cut after a few weeks, but I don't mind still drafting him. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt seems to be the guy. Him and Chris Rodriguez. It could be a lot of just like JC, Bill Krosky-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez, kind of sharing early downs, and then Eckler getting his too. So, but Krosky-Merritt sat, and all the key players didn't play, and Chris Rodriguez did play. So I think Rodriguez is going to be at the top of like that early down depth chart type of role. So keep an eye on JCM. I don't mind taking a shot on him late in drafts. Cleveland and the Rams. I'm kind of out on Quinshon Judkins. Like, I think Judkins, guys, is still being drafted pretty high. Let's see where he's going, Judkins. Quinshon Judkins is going at the 705. All I'm saying, like, Quinshon Judkins hasn't even he hasn't signed. He hasn't practiced yet. You can at best case scenario, you can erase the month of September for Quinshon Judkins. Done. He's not playing in the month of September. And so we're talking about 4 or 5 games where he's not playing at all. That's significant, guys. That's, 5 games is over a third of your fantasy regular season. I'm out on Judkins. Like, someone's going to take him in the 7th, 8th round, and I'm out. So, Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. Actually, Dylan Sampson got the start. So both those guys are definitely late round picks that I'm taking a shot on. Sampson and Jerome Ford. Bengals, Colts. Don't really have much notes there. Texans, Lions. Nick Chubb is probably going to be the week 1 starter for the Texans. So I don't mind taking a shot on Nick Chubb either, and saying, hey, I have this guy, for the month of September, a guy getting touches, right? Who knows what it's going to lead to, but he's definitely a guy that I'm going to be taking a shot on here in the late rounds. Broncos, Saints. Not a whole lot to talk about. Kendre Miller seems to be the number 2 back behind Alvin Kamara. So, yeah. If you want, Marlon, I can share with you. I'm just trying to think. You're talking about what type of wide receiver is getting into the 4th round here. So the type of wide receivers that are going in the 4th round are Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, Rashee Rice. Those are all guys right now that have a PPR around 4 ADP. Oh, sorry. Let me go to consensus. What do you draft on, Marlon? Tell me what you draft on. Sleeper, CBS, ESPN, one of those 3? Because I have the ADP for all 3 of those. Let me know what you draft on there. Kendre Miller seems to be the number 2 guy there. You do the NFL app, okay. Okay, so then we'll just do consensus ADP with those 3, which is not going to be too far off from. It's not going to be too far off from the NFL app. So yeah, it's the wide receivers going around 4. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore. And then just going early round 5, we got DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton, Devontae Smith, and Worthy. Okay. Now, the guys I think that should be going closer to round 4. Let me see here. Let me see who the guys that I think should be going closer to round 4 here. So round 4 would start at the 37th pick. So the guys I think that should be going a little bit closer to round 4 are for wide receivers are DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Davante Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and Jerry Jeudy. So similar. Yeah. Marvin Mims, guys. I'm telling you right now, I'm planting my flag on Marvin Mims. Like, please take a shot on Marvin Mims. He's going. Marvin Mims is going round 13 and a half. It's always going to depend on what website you're drafting on. So he's going in the middle of round 13. Please take a shot on Marvin Mims. I'm telling you guys, take a shot on him. If you haven't watched my videos, I've made several videos where I've talked about Marvin Mims, but it basically comes down to what he was doing at the end of last year. I know it's a small sample size. What he was doing at the end of last year was pretty incredible. Marvin Mims last year, from weeks 11 to 18, was like a top 20 wide receiver in, maybe even higher than that, actually, let me go see where he was exactly in PP. We'll go PPR. He wasn't even he was much better in half PPR. But we'll go PPR from weeks 11 to 18. Marvin Mims was the wide receiver 26 overall, wide receiver 23 in points per game in half PPR. In full PPR. In half PPR, he was the top 20 wide receiver. His 17-game pace, if you look at what he did over those 7 games, Marvin Mims, what he did over those 7 games from weeks 11 to 18, his 17-game pace, 70 catches, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, and also 22 carries over a carry a game. Now, he's not going to get 14 touchdowns. Now, all that being said, Marvin Mims, during that stretch, this was his snap percentage: 22.6, 23.5, 34.5, or 35, 25.5, 47, 46, and 31.1%. He was about 30% of the snap share percentage. Now, fast forward to this year, Marvin Mims in the preseason games, I think it was the preseason week 1, he played in 16 of 18 snaps with the starters, and he left at the same time with Bo Nix did. They traded Devon Bailey. If Marvin Mims even gets to 60 or 70% snap share, we could be seeing a guy that is really, really good this year. I'm telling you guys, take a shot on Marvin Mims. I think he's going to be really good. And he's like an absolute steal right now. And if he doesn't work out, you know what? Whatever. You cut him. So Marlon says, if I'm getting a decent wide receiver, I will keep Neighbors and have this as my draft. CMC, Derrick Henry, Genty, Achane, Lamar, Josh Allen, and then Hampton Henderson are best wide receiver. Yeah, sure. I like that. There. For sure. Rocky, how's it going? Round 6, I want Sutton. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Again, it depends on your league mates and stuff, but Sutton's current ADP is closer to beginning of round 5. So, finished your draft yesterday. What was your what do you got? Okay, I see that you're gonna list it right here. How's it going, John? John, I don't recognize you. It might be new here. Better duo: Tyreek Hill, Jameson Williams, Marvin Harrison, Calvin Ridley. Give me Tyreek Hill, JMO. Yeah, I think I have Tyreek Hill a tier. 2 tiers above Marvin Harrison, and then I have Jameson and Ridley in the same tier. So I like all those players, but give me Tyreek Hill and JMO. By the way, guys, if you're new here, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. During the football season, guys, starting on September 4th, we're going to be live every single day until week 17. That includes Saturdays, Sundays. It includes Christmas, Thanksgiving, every single day. It could only be for 20, 30 minutes. It could be for an hour or two. We're going to be answering all your questions. Join our Discord. It's free to join our Discord. I'm going to leave the link here in the chat. You can ask, start, sit, trade questions, waiver wire stuff. When we're not live, you can ask that stuff. We got a good group of people in there. We're pushing 100 people in there. Join it. We also do team reviews. If you need your team reviewed, obviously that would probably be later in the season, but we can review your team for you, help you. Okay, what moves should you make? Trades you should make. We do it at a pretty affordable price. Some people charge $50, $60. Ours is going to be pretty affordable, so hop in there if you want to get in on that as well. So hop on in there. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. It'll be a pretty decent team, yeah. So we got Derrick Henry, BTJ, Joe Burrow, Mike Evans. Okay. I like Henry and BTJ. Evans, you can't hate there. I'm going to be out on Burrow personally, but I understand why people take him where they take him. So, that's not. I'm not going to really judge that. I want rushing quarterbacks, or I want cheap passing quarterbacks. So, Ted McMillan, RJ Harvey, Chris Olave, David Njoku. Okay. I'm curious, Rocky, you can tell me afterwards. Who are some other players around Olave there? I think Bigsby, Michael Pittman. Love the Pittman pick. I think that's really good value for Pittman. Cedric Tillman and Roshan. Nice. Nice. So you got Henry, Harvey, Bigsby, Roshan, BTJ, Mike Evans, Ted McMillan, Olave, Pittman, Tillman. Yeah, I like that wide receiver room and running back room. And you pairing that with Burrow and Njoku. Justice Hill, horrible. Brenton Strange. Yeah, don't love the Hill pick. Finished with Green Bay and Will Lutz. Yeah. Who could you have drafted besides Olave? I'm curious, because I think it's fascinating with the Saints, where as a community, whether you make content, whether you don't make content, whatever, everyone says Saints are going to suck. Yet they have two fantasy players going in the top 75. So I'm just curious where that went. I don't hate your draft at all. I think it's a solid draft there. I'm curious who you could have gotten instead of Justice Hill. I'm curious who you could have gotten instead of Chris Olave. But all those other players are players that I like. In that area. So I love that 9 through 12 picks. I think you got some good value here. Tink Bigsby could be the leading running back for the Jags. Michael Pittman, I think, is great value in the 10th round. Cedric Tillman, I think, is a good dart throw. Roshan, we'll see. He's a little beat up. So after Olave, there was Addison Judy. Oh, yeah, okay. Jennings, Shakir, Warren. I would have 100% taken Jerry Judy there out of that whole group. For me, I have Jerry Judy. I have Jerry Judy in where is he? I have him in my tier 7, which means I have him as almost a top 50 player. He could be a top 50 player for me. I just think Judy is going to feast with Flacco. Now, Flacco could only be there for 4 or 5 weeks. I think we actually looked at their schedule. They have a brutal schedule. The Browns have a brutal schedule to start the year. This is their schedule to start the year. Bengals, loss. Ravens, loss. Packers, probably a loss. Lions, loss. Vikings, probably a loss. Steelers at Pittsburgh, probably a loss. That's their first 6 games. That is brutal. If they go 1-5, 2-4, 0-6, how long are they just going to continue to roll Flacco out there? And then they could move to one of the rookies. That's the downside for Judy. I just think Judy could be top 12, a top 12 wide receiver with Flacco. And then when they bring in one of these rookies, he's maybe a top 24 guy. So I would have taken Judy. that's really about it, honestly. Like Olave is probably next up there for me, so I don't think it's terrible. Traded away JCM and a 26 fourth for Benson. Thoughts? I would probably keep JCM at this point. I think I would just take JCM. I just don't know with Benson. Like he was being out snapped by like Amari DiMercado and Michael Carter last year. You know, Trey Benson was, and is he even? Yeah, he's not injured, right, Benson? He's definitely because he didn't play preseason week 3. So maybe that means they establish him as I don't hate it, but we were probably one of the first channels to talk about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt all the way back in March. I don't remember hearing anyone talk about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in March. And so I just think I'm pretty excited about JCM Bill and the possibilities there. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Thinking Judy and Tillman. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like you got a piece of that offense, which is good. I just think Judy's going to be really good this year. Like I really do. George Pickens for Stephon Diggs trade. Who wins? Is this Dynasty, Connor? We're at that point in the year where we need to specify if we're talking just redraft or Dynasty. If it's Dynasty, it's easy Pickens. Easy Pickens. If it's redraft, it's obviously closer. I think I still have George Pickens a tier higher. So both redraft and Dynasty, it's Pickens for me. In Dynasty, it's easy Pickens. So it's redraft. Yeah, I'll take the Pickens side, but it's not like a huge steal or anything. These positional 1-for-1 trades, I don't know. They don't do much for me if they're very close in the same tier. So, but yeah, I think we're gonna probably end it there, guys. Next time we're gonna be live is Thursday. And then we'll probably do some mock drafts on Thursday to get you ready for your this coming weekend's mock draft, fantasy drafts. And then we'll be live Sunday with a real live draft. And then Wednesday, the 3rd. And then from that point on, every single day of the NFL season. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, guys, and join our Discord. Link is in the chat here. If you scroll up, it's right there. Link is in the chat there to join. Hop in there. You'll know when we go live every single day. And an update for you, that crazy 16-team Dynasty League I showed you a while back. My starting lineup is now Purdy, HN, Bucky, Chase. Oh, my God. Wow. Pete, appreciate you. Probably going to make a deep stash video before the season starts. Kind of let roster cuts happen and then some deep stashes. So appreciate everyone. See you all Thursday live. Take care.